Good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of the Weather Academy. Yours truly here, meteorologist Tom DeVecchio. Now, I had a whole thing set up here where I was going to talk about relative humidity, but at the very last minute, I changed my mind, decided to talk about satellite pictures, specifically the visible satellite pictures, and see how it not only picks up clouds but other things, because that's kind of the news right now. But first of all, recall Craig and I had talked about satellite pictures last year, and if just a quick review, we use in the weather as meteorologists, and we have many types of satellite pictures. The three main ones we use are the visible satellite pictures, the infrared satellite pictures, and the water vapor satellite pictures. And keep in mind, I'm going to concentrate on the visible. I'm going to talk about the visible satellite pictures today. Now remember, those satellites are way up in space, 23,000 miles in space. And if you recall, that's like taking 7 United States. If you put New York City on the ground and California is pointing up the states, it would be 7 of them before you actually reach the satellite itself. And the reason that they're that far out, they have to be that far out to take a full, what we call full disk of the whole Earth. And that's why they are so far away. Now, visible satellite pictures, as the name implies, means that it's basically like taking your phone's camera or taking a snapshot of visible satellite pictures. It takes a picture of the visible light. When the sun shines, it hits the clouds or any other particles and reflects that light back into space. The reason you see things with your eyes see in the visible light. When you see objects like this countertop or food or the floor, you see it because light is bouncing off the main light source. Maybe it's a candlelight or a light bulb or the sun, and it comes to your eyes and you see that as visible light. Well, that's what we see. That's what the visible satellite picture is, and that's how we see the clouds. It's one way we see the clouds. Maybe another time we'll talk more about the infrared and the water vapor images a little more closely. Now, in the news today are the wildfires that are out west. And let's pop up the screen. Let's go full screen here. And what I have here, this is a visible satellite picture. Actually, this is from the day before. But this is, again, to orient you, here's the state of California, here's Nevada, here's Oregon, here's Idaho, and here's Arizona and Utah. So we have the visible satellite pictures. Now, before we go any farther here, satellite pictures, when it comes to visible, generally speaking, the duller the colors, if the colors are dull, like a dull gray, that indicates clouds that are relatively thin because there's not as much bounce of the light off the clouds. Some of these thicker ones are, oh, you know what? This is from yesterday. I want to go from the day before. There we go. Okay, I'm like, why is that so dark? All right, this is actually a satellite picture from Sunday late in the afternoon. And I like this one. First of all, it's much brighter, okay? And what you see here are some dull gray. Now you see total dark. That means there's no clouds. Bright white here are clouds that are thicker. Typically, we see these kind of thicker clouds along fronts. This is most likely a cold front. This is also maybe another weather system. But notice we have these areas of somewhat brighter gray. This one here, this one, and this one. And as I'm manually put this into motion, watch. What do you think those are? Whoops, it jumped ahead of me. I'm sorry about that. So what are those? Now we're going several hours, so we're going from, let's see, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon California time, and here is sunset. So again, why is it going away? Well, visible satellite pictures need sunshine. So the sun is going down below the horizon and we lose it. Those are the wildfires that you've been hearing about. And again, just going back and forth, you can see we have one wildfire here, another several here. In fact, I can probably even go closer. Let's see, is this a good shot here? Not the best. Let me go, let's go a little bit farther north. How about this one? There we go. Okay. So here you can see these fires. Look at that. And you know, from far away, the other one, look at, there was only like 2 or 3, but when you look more closely, you can see we have several fires here. This is as close as I can get. I wish I could zoom in even more. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, at least 12. That might even be one there. Let me see. Yeah, smaller one there, 12, so about 13. And that's just a quick count. But, and actually we have several up here as well going into Oregon. So these are the wildfires, again, and you can see how it is showing up quite nicely. Look at how thick that smoke is. It's thick enough where it's actually a brighter gray. So these wildfires are definitely something, this is how you can kind of track it. And let's go up into Oregon. Let's see if we can pick up some of those as well. And there you can see other fires as well. 1, 2, here's another one. There's 3. And even into Washington. So you've been hearing probably about all the smoke and the haze. And so these visible satellite pictures show the wildfires. Well, in the meantime, you see the real bright white here. This could be the saving grace. I'm going to go through the nighttime and go into, this is the early morning picture. And keep in mind, it's much earlier. It's 7 o'clock out toward Oregon, so these are just coming up here. And you can see the thicker clouds coming in, and that is hopefully rainfall that can at least help Washington and Oregon. But that's, you know, it's most likely rain. If I put on a radar, you can see the radar showing we got some showers here with some of these thicker clouds. Now, unfortunately, not much down here. All this blue here is what we call fake radar. It's not real, but up here it is real, so that should help. That should help with the forest fires. But again, you can see just by looking this, we have thin clouds here because it's a darker gray, thicker clouds here, and that's what the visible satellite picture shows you. Now, one other thing I want to show you now as we go full screen, and I'm going to shorten up this loop here. Now, the other thing we'll see, now we're recording, this is Tuesday's map, by the way, not today's map, because I'm recording this on Tuesday. And you can see we do have Hurricane Sally here, offshore right now, probably close to shore as this Weather Academy is going on. That in and of itself, you can see bright white, as you might expect with the hurricane, thick clouds. Here's the other hurricane that was hitting Bermuda. Forgive me, the name escapes me right now. But that's the other hurricane. And another little weather system here. But if you look here real closely, you see these little wisps of high, thin clouds. Another batch coming across the Great Lakes and a little bit here. If you follow it, look at where the origin is. It's hard to follow, but the origin is from these wildfires out west. And the jet stream takes that smoke and is moving it across. If you look at North Dakota, South Dakota, it looks a little bit brighter, and a little brighter streak here in Nebraska that gets a little more diffuse over Ohio and Pennsylvania. And this batch right here, Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, into our region. So what we are seeing here is actually the fires, the smoke from the fires moving across the Great Lakes region and into our neck of the woods. So you can come back to me here, Cindy. So that's what we have here. We have these high, bright clouds. We have Hurricane Sally, and we picked up on the visible the fires along the wildfires in the far west. And there are others here in Nevada, Idaho. They're covering much of the far west. And you can look at these by getting any good visible satellite loop. This one's what we call from the College of DuPage. Satellite pictures, but there are many, many others. The National Weather Service has also some very good weather and satellite pictures. Take a look at the visible one, and yeah, it's neat to see the clouds of the storms that are coming in, but see if you can find other elements. You can also see here, what you sometimes see, especially come wintertime, a lot of times we can see rivers, and we can see where there's ice. Whether or not there's ice on the Great Lakes, because it shows up a little bit brighter than the Great Lakes right now, which are dark black because if there's no clouds, they show up dark black. If there's ice, they would show up as kind of a gray. So visible satellite pictures are not just for looking at clouds. We can find smoke, we can find ice, and we can find other physical features like rivers just by using the visible satellite picture. Very, very large amount of ways that we can use it. So there you have it, your Weather Academy. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope that you learned a little bit something about visible satellite pictures, and we'll have something really cool coming up again next week. Enjoy your day, everyone.